All right, so welcome to the call, everybody. It's Mary-Anne Gillespie, CEO of Red Apple Coaching. Somebody asked me the other day why we're not doing Zoom, and the reality is that I coach at a really different level than a lot of people. So I'm very out of the box. I'm very quick, as you guys know. If I'm doing video calls, which I don't mind doing, but the problem is that getting everybody on them, there's some hacking happening with video calls. Furthermore, we want to upload these quickly, and it just takes way too long if we're doing it by video all the time. So there's a lot of different reasons why I'm not doing it. Plus, I do not like distractions, as you probably already know. So I like to keep it going. So today's call, I'm super jacked. I'm super excited for this. It's our Monday pivoting into awesome directions call. So I freaking love it. So if you are one of the lucky people who is on this call, you're going to be loaded with a bunch of information. Like always, you'll have to get the copy from our Facebook site only because I am definitely not going to slow down. Again, rules of engagement, you may be hung up on this call because we are literally at capacity. If anything happens, I'll dial back in. If you hear music, that means I got dropped out of the call, so I'll dial back in. Otherwise, we are going to load this with a ton of information, literally. The only thing I'm going to ask is you've all been put on mute. If you know how to unmute yourself, do not, so we can record it with crystal clear transparency. All right, this is two-step, guys. The first 15 minutes or even less than that, I'm going to just talk about some of the tips and tricks about how to creating a schedule for this type of situation with you guys. The second part of this phone call, which is where the most awesome stuff is actually going to happen, I am going to load you with the number one question I've been asked this week, which is, oh my God, how do I get virtual appointments? Where do I find them? Okay, so I'm going to really focus in on that. That's a really big one, and I understand how stressed out everybody is saying, where do I find these appointments? So we're going to dive into that. So a couple things. Anybody who knows me knows I spend Sundays listening to a million analysts talk about markets. I'm dialing in. I spoke to New York agents yesterday, some of the top teams in Manhattan, top teams in Quebec. I'm all over the place. I'm tackling markets that are shut down as my primary objective right now, and I'm listening to economists talk about the worst case scenarios, so I'm always prepared for the best case scenarios. So I'm feeling pretty good right now. Here's the thing. As always, you need to understand my standpoint, my viewpoint is that we should only be essential service providers, okay? We have a job to do. We are here to provide essential services to people who need to sell and need to buy. That is why I'm being very careful about today's call. I want you guys to really focus on essential services. So that's my disclosure at the very beginning. I never want to be mistaken for somebody that thinks that we should be breaking any of the existing rules. Those of you on this call from New York or from Quebec, you guys are non-essential services. That doesn't mean your business is shut down. Okay, we need to get to the other side of this, and this is where my headset is. You guys know, based on my NLP calls, that my perspective is very strong. Okay, I am the person who does not believe in unicorns, but I also don't believe in Armageddon. Okay, I'm somewhere beautifully balanced in the middle that says, I don't know where this is going to end up, but I can assure you of one thing, there is always a need for real estate, and if we're deemed essential services or not, it is our job to not just keep our companies going, but to keep the industry strong and keep the industry happening and to help the people that really need it. So that just gives you a bit of disclosure to the new people who might be jumping on this call. We're a good week and a half, in my opinion, on what people are doing, so let's roll the heck into this. Now, for scheduling, it's coming back to me. Everybody seems to have a lot of challenges with teams not being there, teams not focusing, CEOs getting very distracted. A lot of great baking shows that I'm seeing online, super impressive, not my thing. You guys know that as well. It's just not who I am. Meaning I'm really the person that I want to steer a ship. I'm not interested in being in the kitchen. And that's just who I am. I see this as a big situation that we have to really be frontliners for. Okay, so when it comes to scheduling, rolling into this, guys, some of the most important things I'm seeing, again, I'm seeing teams get distracted. They're doing the Zoom calls, but then they're losing momentum. My suggestion is this, guys. First of all, if you can, triage everybody into 2x2s, just like Noah's Ark. If you're a single agent on this call, you need to find a partner as motivated as you are to end up on the other side of this, okay, in a good way. So you need to find somebody that's going to hold your ass accountable every single day partnership-wise. The other thing, so if you don't have that, you need to find it. If you're on a team, you need to triage your team. Partner them up wherever they are. Okay, it's too much responsibility for the CEO to be dragging everybody behind. Your coaches can help too. You know, we're really helping with that, but we're also suggesting that you guys go 2x2. So single agents, find another single agent. Team members, partner up with each other. Very simple. If you're a single agent, don't tell me you don't know anybody else. I don't care if they're with another company. This isn't the time to start getting into company battle wars. You'll notice I don't have time for that shit in my world. I'm like, we need to work with the people who are the top 20% in the industry that decide that we're going to all work together. Okay? So 2x2 is what I'm suggesting right now. I'm suggesting right now, right off the get-go, that you set a goal of 5 virtual appointments a week. And you're hearing this across, it doesn't matter what market you're in. If you're in New York, my conversations with New York teams didn't change yesterday. My conversations with the Quebec teams hasn't changed. You need to find 5 a week. If you're not finding 5 a week, that means you are completely not targeting the right people. If you have not watched the news, it is very possible you haven't. I've certainly heard that from some people saying I just haven't watched the news. I get that. Maybe just educate a little bit on it in the sense of when you're seeing some of the employment rates, the landlords who didn't get paid, just kind of see who in your area needs help. We'll cover that on the second bit of this call, though. Getting back to scheduling. If you're looking at about 5 virtual appointments a week, guys, you need to understand that it's different time blocking at a very different level. Okay? If you're just getting onto this call, you need to promise me to mute yourself, which is *6. Okay, if you're just getting on this call, we're having so many people that we can't mute everybody right now. It's getting kind of crazy. All right, so what we're looking for, guys, again, let me put it here. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so what we're really looking for is scheduling in enough appointments and time blocking that you can hit 5 appointments a week. If you're typically an agent who is doing 2 to 3 appointments a week, take a look at your lead generation that you were doing before this. Okay, so if you were doing lead generation at a level and you were getting 2 to 3 appointments and you were doing about 12 hours a week, please understand that means you're going to have to do 24 hours a week just to maintain the same level of appointments. You don't have anything else to do. Okay, I shouldn't say that. Wait a second. That was terrible. I shouldn't say that. You have lots of other things to do. You are now full-time caregivers. You're now full-time teachers. You're now full-time husbands and wives and wives, husbands and husbands. Everybody's stuck together on this. So the truth is that you do have other things to do. Understand, though, you are frontline workers. Okay, that's what I'm calling you guys. Even the non-essential ones, you have a job to do. Okay, we all have a role to play in this. So your schedule needs to be exactly disciplined as the way that it should be in order to get the results you want. If you're on this call and you're not interested in getting virtual appointments and you're not interested in keeping your business going, I would definitely say hang up, let somebody else on the line, because we're definitely at full capacity right now. And that's the fair thing to do. Okay, we're interested in feeding the flowers. So a typical schedule would be partnering up 2x2, finding an accountability partner. I would suggest 2 check-ins, one in the morning, one in the evening. My suggested check-ins are 7:30 in the morning to get your ass out of bed, okay? And just do the check-in. Do it by Zoom, do it by text, don't care. Just get your head in the game early. Start it off with something really positive and be like, today, we're challenging a lot of people to have 30 conversations a day. That would be my best suggestion. I think 30 is too low, in my opinion. However, it's a great area for those of you who are maybe having longer calls and stuff. 30 conversations a day. I'm asking 5 days a week. Okay, be very conscious about that. That is a minimum. And that only applies if you're having 30 conversations with the right people. We'll cover that on the second half of this call. If you're having 30 conversations with Bob and Sue or anybody for that matter, and they're okay, they're public servants, they're like, hey, I'm chilling like a villain. For example, if I have a conversation with my neighbors who are both teachers and they're 3 houses down from me, right now it's 12 o'clock. I'm on the call with all you guys who are business owners. I'll tell you what they're doing. They're sitting on their front lawn in 2 lawn chairs having a pint at 12 o'clock, and they're smiling. So it's thank God this isn't purge time, because if you watch that movie, because that would not be a good scenario. Anyway, but the point is that if you're sitting here and you're talking to people and you're like, hey, I got nobody who's been laid off, I got nobody who's been doing that, guess what? You're contacting the wrong 30 people a day. Okay? If you're calling people like that, your number is going to be 300 a day. all right? And you're going to have conversations about everybody doing great, everybody doing fine. Remember, essential service providers and even those of us who are non-essential service providers on this call need to be focused on that. Okay, we need to be focused on finding people who actually need us. That's our role right now. It's not going to be like that, for 20 years, but it's a different role than we had 4 weeks ago. 4 weeks ago, most of us were in markets that were super freaking awesome, or we were, trucking along. We're just getting caught up on our Christmas bills. Everything's great. The problem right now is that we're in a different situation. Okay, we're not servicing people who are happy because everything's going great in their life. We need to find the people who generally need our help. They need our help. And that's what I'm really saying. Those 30 conversations cannot be in your schedule with people who are perfect. Your database calls should have been done 3 weeks ago. Okay, if you're not done through your database by now, then that definitely takes priority. However, most of you should have had your check-ins with your databases already. Moving forward a little bit, guys, when we're looking at the real estate economy, all reports I'm hearing and showing are different city by city. So it's really not one size fits all right now. Some cities are more isolated because you have more public sector. The good news is a lot of the economy was fairly strong prior to going into this as far as sales go. If you look at my city, they went up in January about 16, 17%. In February, they went up about 13 to 15%. So even if they took a 20% hit, which would be very dramatic, if it did take a 20% hit, year to year, we're still way better than last year. Okay, so that's just how it goes. Anyway, the point is that back to scheduling with your teams and your people. So key points: 2 by 2, 30 important conversations per day. I would suggest a 7:30 in the morning check-in to get your day rolling and get your head up and in the game going, okay, it's time for a shower now. I did my check-in, my accountability check-in, just checking with each other. Are you in? Yes. In? Yes. Start your day. Your next check-in would probably be around 8 to 8:30. And that check-in with your accountability partner should be something where your partner says, did you get your 30? Yes, I did. Did you get any appointments? Yes or no? It's up to you if you want to stop at 30. To me, if I would be setting a goal every day, Monday to Friday, weekends off. Yeah, you heard that right. I'm saying take the weekends off. Monday to Friday, and that's a first. You'll probably never hear me say that again. But anyway, Monday to Friday, hit your one virtual appointment per day. Okay, if you're not hitting it, increase your call volume, increase the type of people you're talking to. If you are a person who's like, I don't need five a week, all I can tell you is this. Most of you, if you're in a position right now, you need to really look, how do you want this to be on the other end? I'm very cautious about this with everybody saying, look, you can look at this in multiple different ways. People are always asking me about my perspective on things, and I don't have the answers to everything. I have the answers for maybe a week. I don't know how the public is going to react. I don't also know anything about pandemics, other than statistical things that I'm seeing in the calls I'm on. So the truth is all I know is that I know what's happening in the economy right now, and I know for realtors and for real estate, there is a massive need for us to step up to the plate and help people. And that's my role. And as long as there's a need for us to achieve that role, it doesn't matter if we're essential or not essential, there are people who need us, and we need to find those people. And those people are scared to death. Okay, they're not in good situations. So if you're doing your calls and you want to see yourself on the other side of this, you have two ways to look at it. You may be going through a really hard time just like other people are. You may be going through a hard time where you're like, I've got kids at home. You may be going through things like, you know what, it's terrible. Or you might be like, oh my God, we're going to kill each other here. That's okay. That's okay. You're allowed to feel that. Nobody's saying like, I said to a client this morning, and I just love this client, but you know what? We had a moment together where it was like, where we both just acknowledged how we were feeling. I mean, that's just great. Not everything's perfect for everybody. Okay, so you have to acknowledge those things. And if we're scared to acknowledge how we're feeling, think of what other people who are losing everything are feeling. So getting back to the schedule, how do you balance that out? You have to share the schedule. Working from home is not for everybody. And I'm going to make sure that call, sorry about that, guys. Let me just interrupt this for a second. That person has put us on hold, and we are. I do apologize for that nice person who decided to put us on hold. Anyway, sorry about this, guys. I do apologize. Whoever that is, we will make sure that they're blasted from all calls.
Are you muted, Sean?
No, that person is not muted. Whoever just said that, we can hear you. So please push *6 on your phone. For some reason, you keep coming in our calls. So the person who just asked if you're muted, make sure that you mute yourself. Okay. Sorry, guys. We have so many people here that when somebody comes on to the call, if they sneak on like that, then we can't get them. All right. So here's the thing, guys. I do apologize again for that. Long story short, you want to get your calendars again into a point where they're segmented. Okay, find activities, like if you have a pattern with your kids, they should be on a routine too. My understanding is kids should be educating, and even if they're small kids, do the switch off with your spouse. Be like, if we can get an hour here, you can get an hour there. That's all we need. Okay, so really figure out ways. Leverage social media, leverage everything you've got, and create a schedule. If that means, think about it, guys, your amount of time you should be doing, if you're doing one virtual appointment a day, that's probably a good hour of your life. That's one virtual appointment a day. That leaves an obscene amount of time for you to be reaching out and connecting. And we'll cover that in the next segment. So what I'm sort of looking at is saying to you guys, an hour here, take a 30-minute break, or take an hour with your kids, then do another hour. What I'm hoping for is you can find 5 hours a day of lead generation plus 1 hour of virtual appointments. That sounds like a lot, but if you listen to where we're asking you to go, it's easier for you guys to find the appointments. Now, again, I'm not asking for you guys, if you hit your one appointment goal and you hit it your first hour, that's a free pass. Go enjoy the rest of the day. Okay, that's my thought process on this, is that unless you want to get all 5 appointments booked in one day and you're like, I can do this, and you decide and you say to your spouse, you know what, I'm going on lockdown, I'm going to get 50% of my appointments done today, booking them all, you can do that too. That's kind of how I work, by the way. If you guys really want to know, my favorite thing to do is I go, hey, you know what, I'm going to just go into the war room, I'm going to take a 24-hour period, and I'm going to book as many appointments as I possibly can, line up my week so I have a lot more free time. So there's that as well. Whatever it is, work it out with your accountability partner. Okay, and again, find an accountability partner. And if you can't find one, reach out to me. Anybody, 7:30 in the morning, 8 to 8:30 at night. Best thing you can possibly do. And if you're the CEO of a big team on this call, do not try to be everybody's accountability partner. Take your team 2 by 2 by 2. Okay, now, something came into me Friday, where a team member said, hey, listen, what do I do if half of my team doesn't want to operate? They don't want to be accountable. They don't want 5 appointments a week. Now is not the time to worry about that. That's all I'm saying. If you have a leadership conversation with them, you need to ask them. You need to say, look, we're looking for people who need to help with our team, with our company, with our growth. Either you're in or you're not. Whatever the decision is, you respect their decision. It's up to them. Some people are in a state of panic, and it might be somebody on your team. We don't want to force them into anything. I'm not interested in that. It's not everybody is cut out for the path that we're about to head down. But what I am saying is, if you're on this call right now, you yourself are ready to head down a different path, and that's where I want us to go. Okay, a very serious path. So with the scheduling, like I said, we're looking for about 5 hours plus of lead generation a day. That means if you're a business owner on this call, not just a realtor, but if you're a business owner, you need to be spending 5 hours a day building your business and still focusing on shifting and pivoting and doing what you need to do. Okay, if you're essential service provider, then you're finding essential clients. If you're not an essential service provider, you're still finding people who will be your essential clients when you're on the other side of this, because your next step will be they will remove, based on what I heard this weekend on my calls, those places that have labeled us as non-essential, they seem to be removing it and making us essential, but with major limitations. Okay, so understand that even if you're non-essential right now, there is a chance very, not too far in the future where they may remove it. At some point they will have to, but you will not have, it's not like a gate that they're going to open. They will just remove and flip and say, okay, now you're essential again, but here's your limits. In one state that I was talking to, they removed it, but they're limited to servicing very certain clients. Okay. I was asked about Ontario builders. A lot of people are coming around saying that Ontario builders, are blocked. There's no more new houses. That's not completely true. My understanding, again, I have a very good source in this one, but my understanding is that any permits that have been issued will still be allowed to be built. So if you have a deck permit, I believe, that can constitute. I don't think it's appropriate. However, If you have a building permit for a house, if a home builder has a building permit for a house, my understanding is it's still a go. You need to check with your prospective builders on that. I don't have the answers to that. I will say, though, that I do have a good source that anything with a permit for building house wise has been, that's what means continuing construction as far as that goes. So that does actually mean that some of the closings will happen. Okay. So moving backwards a little bit, we've got the schedule. Let's look at how we get the virtual clients, okay? You're going to hear some things, guys, and again, I may not be the feather that tickles your toes right now. It may be, it's not going to sit well with everybody. I've had mostly, I'd say 99% positive feedback. There's always a 1% that thinks that we should be hiding right now. And I want to respect those people. They're in a different situation. How you see something, and I covered this in our NLP calls, how you're seeing this situation perspective-wise is going to make the difference of how you're hearing what I'm about to say. Okay? I see things in a very empathetic way. I feel things very deeply, like extremely deeply, and not to the point where there's something that I should be aware of. But when I was out for a run the other day, everybody knows I have a compromised immune system. If you don't, you know it now. So I'm really avoiding different hours of different things. But how you see things is different. So in my group, okay, there's a ton of runners and triathletes and Ironmans that I hang out with. I don't know anybody else this weekend. Ironman, for example, and this is about perspective. Ironman and where we're about to head. Ironman held a virtual race this weekend, and they didn't give us much notice. And they said, you know, anybody who wants to do the virtual race, it's the first inaugural one. What do you want to do? In my own circle, I don't know anybody else who did it. And that's all I train with is Iron men and Iron women and triathletes. And that's no judgment whatsoever to anybody else. But there's a clear difference between, you know, a lot of people ask me about my fitness performance and they go, you know, it's been a big topic of conversation. I feel like Ben Johnson, for God's sakes. But anyway, so anyhow, people are like, how are you running faster? How are you swimming better? How are you cycling better? Well, I did the Ironman virtual this weekend. So I did it. I finished it. I think I finished pretty well. But the point is that 80% of people won't do things. 20% will. You've heard of the Pareto law. Start paying attention to it because it's everywhere. The Pareto law shows that 80% of people aren't going to do what they have to do to get to the other side of this. 20% will. I have always decided to go on the 20%. I don't go where the 80% go. I go where the 20% go. And I'd like to say that it's taken me where I need to go. So let's get down to the nitty, itty, bitty, gritty. People are, no matter if you're in the United States or you're in Canada, the economy is going to take a massive hit. The Wall Street will probably crash. Most likely, it'll probably crash in the fall. And, you know, predictions are maybe a really strong Q4. In Canada, they're predicting maybe a really strong Q3. It's hard to tell. Nobody has the answers. The biggest thing I'm going to tell you is both economies, we all know. You'd have to be crazy to not know that this much cash infusion into economies and to help people will only put us more in debt, okay? So our taxes, our lifestyles, things will be more expensive. As a global issue, that is a pretty big deal, okay? So I don't want us to pretend that this isn't a big deal. This is a huge freaking deal. Whether you're sitting on this call and everything's great in your world or not, that's not the point. This is a big deal. So from that perspective, yes. What I want to caution you about, and I was on a great call yesterday with some people that I literally just think are the smartest minds in the world. They had a great point. They said, take a really good look. If you're in my market, it had a massive increase in January, like in the teens for pricing, massive in February. And like I said earlier, even when we take a big hit, we're still going to be very healthy as far as pricing goes if you look at it the right way. So you can do some different things. Some companies are taking a look and they're sharing quarterly reports. Please, the best perspective to look at right now, again, I'm really, really stressing out for the real estate agents in this and the business owners in this, but mostly the real estate agents. If you're going, I know there's so many things out there that are like, cut your costs, run to the hills, do it. I understand that. And I think it is a nice time to lean out. We had a great conversation with somebody this morning. I did it too. I called Rogers this weekend because I was like, you know what? I'm really tired of paying $300 a month, for all my services. I called Rogers. $150 a month in savings I just got for nothing, for just picking up a phone. And they're like, yeah, we have a better package for you. Here you go. Okay, great. That's amazing. That's awesome. Woohoo. So anyway, so that's amazing. I'm going to take that 150. I'm going to support a local business owner. That's what I'm doing. I'm not living in scarcity. I'm looking at the quarter by quarter, and I'm looking at analysis over last year, and I'm looking at the last 5 years, and I'm also looking at any pandemic that's ever hit or global economy issue that's ever hit our country or other countries, and I'm looking at a 5-year trajectory. That's what I'm doing. And I'm going, what does this actually look like? What is the worst case? What is the best case? That's why I'm not panicking. You know, if I only looked at today, excuse my language, I'd be shitting my pants, just so you know. So let me just say it honestly. If I only looked at today, I would be terrified. If I only looked at tomorrow, I would be terrified. But what I'm looking at is the bigger picture. And I'm looking at it that way because this is not a short game for me. This is a long game. If I look at the first quarter, I can assure you, I just talked to a client this morning. First, January they made I think 60,000 or 70,000. February they made 100,000. Yeah, their March actually is excellent, but their April is going to be a little tough because now we're entering 3-4 weeks into this. It's going to be a little bit tougher. But if you want to really panic, then go ahead and focus on that. Panic. But the truth is if you look at it quarter by quarter by quarter, understand if you're a business owner, which all of you are on this phone call, take a look and see. If you're looking at the numbers, can you crush it in the third quarter? Is it still going to be around? I'm sure social distancing will be something that's really practiced in our industry for the rest of the year. However, you can't look at your business as crashing based on 1 month of data. Yes, the economy is going to take a really bad hit, but there's going to be more need for real estate than you're ever going to see. There's going to be a need. Think about it. If I was in the personal training industry, no offense, there's going to be no offense at all, okay? But because you're speaking to somebody who is high risk of eating half of their house out. But I'll be honest with you, if you're looking at the personal training industry, there is going to be a massive freaking demand for health and fitness on the other side of this. It's huge. So are those personal trainers sitting around right now? 80% of them are panicking, freaking out. 20% of them are saying, I'm going to go find those clients who are suffering right now. I'm going to pour into them. I'm going to give my services to them, help them out right now. And on the other side of this, I think there's going to be an opportunity for those people to have businesses like they've never had before. Same thing. You know what? If you're in any business, there is a massive upswing that is going to happen. So in the housing industry, we call that pent up purchasing and pent up selling. So if it's a pause, it depends on how long. But if there's a 2 to 3 month pause and you're in Quebec, let's say, you're going to have what we call pent up purchasing, pent up selling. Usually, typically that happens when, a pandemic, everybody runs out, buys their houses, you go on shutdown. And then what happens is there's a bunch of investors that want to buy. Then there's a bunch of people that need to sell, but they can't sell right now. And so we call that pent up purchasing, pent up selling. And there's going to be need for that. So how you pivot right now and how you decide to see that as a perspective, do you want to help those people on the other end? Well, then you have to spend the next 30 days finding them. So that brings me to the next point. I'm looking at this as a 30-day snapshot. Why am I looking at a 30-day snapshot? Because I need to look at it as a 30-day snapshot. Why? Because that's as far out as I can possibly see right now is 30 days. And I'm also, if you take my perspective and you start chunking this down quarter by quarter and looking at the yearly goals and then comparing last year to this year, can you still pull your businesses back on track? That's the question I need to ask you guys. So before you go into full-blown scarcity and panic mode, really put things into perspective and really look at this as a company owner. Okay? Now, we need to be finding, let's pivot right into this. We're going to rapid fire. Okay? We need to be finding those virtual CMAs and those virtual clients. Okay? My suggestion is this. We need to, if we're deemed essential services, let's cover that part first. If we're deemed essential services, you've heard me talk about this, we have to be helping the people who essentially need us. Again, if you are having 30 contacts a day with people and those conversations are to people who don't need your help, you are not talking to the right people. That 30 conversations a day I've asked you guys to do is based on people who are in pain. Somebody asked me this morning, and I wanted to cover this really quickly, is I had two questions that really came up that I thought were a really good perspective. I'm seeing a lot of agencies and brokerages having wine parties, those little wine parties, and they're like, hey, and I'm seeing agents posting that, and they're going, hey, here's my wine party. And I respect that. I fully respect it. We need, as brokerages and companies, to have that. Like, we need to kind of have that. Do we need to share that? Do we need to share that we were having glasses of wine in our sweat clothes or whatever the case is with 60 other agents when other people are losing their houses? Look at the perspective of that. I really want you to look at that for a second. Those of you who have if you're going to do that, I'm not sure, what the message that you're really looking at, okay? Because that can be really hard in the real estate industry right now. We really need to be showing that we can help people who need our help. So I would very highly suggest that I think it's nice to share that with other realtors to show support and unity at your brokerage level, but be very cautious that maybe you have group lists on your Facebook. How would it feel if you flip the table? At the beginning of this call, I talked about empathy. And I'm not sure how good I would feel if I was losing my house or I couldn't afford things and all that kind of stuff. I'm not sure how I would feel if I saw my realtor, having wine with 60 other realtors online and I haven't heard from them. That wouldn't feel really good with me. So watch out when is all I'm saying with that. I'm not saying that they're bad. I'm just saying is that really the right message? You got to kind of be cautious about that. Okay, so be very, very careful about what perspective and be very empathetic of what we're going through right now. Somebody else asked me this morning if they should be putting just sold on Facebook and stuff like that, and I said I think that's perspective too. I think it can help show that the economy is still happening, and that can really give a little bit of hope. The biggest thing that I would suggest is maybe to just be a little bit human and not have that misperception. So maybe posting something along the lines of, hey, you know what? I know a lot of people in our community are not, they're not in a place right now where they're going to understand why we're posting this. I want to share with you guys that this is to give you hope that our office is working really hard with essential buyers and sellers. They are existing. We care about them. We're letting you, the public, know that we're still trying. We're trying to keep the economy going for you guys. We're really doing our best, and we're respecting that we're only working with essential service providers right now or essential clients. Like, just letting that know is not going to hurt. Okay. I think if you're just out there posting just sold, just sold, just sold, it shows that you're active, but you also have to remember is that flip side of the coin. So letting the public know it's not a bad thing. I think there's nothing wrong with that. It's the way I look at it is it's no different than somebody saying here, my restaurant is open for takeout, right? Like, people know right now there's a little bit more forgiveness. So I've labeled this, as I've labeled it, you're going to see today, I'm going to be posting it everywhere. I've labeled this the kindness economy. And I want you guys to remember when we're going through the kindness economy, that kindness economy, what I really want to stress out is this. We are under so much stress. And people don't even understand. My own circle doesn't understand that I'm working 18-hour days. My neighbors don't understand that even though I'm in the house, they're like, hey, have you watched any Netflix? No, God damn it, I haven't watched any Netflix. I don't even know. Like, I don't even need a Netflix account. The last thing I can do with knowing that people are suffering, I cannot sit on a couch and watch Netflix for 5-6 hours. I'm not interested in that. People are losing their houses, so I want to help them. And people need help. So here's the thing. Let's target it down. First thing you want to do is look at the industries that need our help. Okay. If you're looking, there are, I think it was the statistic that I saw this morning, 1 out of every 10 restaurants has closed now permanently. I know 3 in my own neighborhood that closed last week permanently. So that's 1 out of every 10. They're saying when we get to the other end of this, only 50% of the restaurant owners will actually be able to maintain and get their business back to where it needs to be. Okay, so the restaurant industry, huge. Are you doing anything? What are you doing? It's not good enough. I'm not interested in the gift card thing. You can get other people and encourage your database to do that. What I'm interested in is, are you helping those business owners that are restaurant owners? What about all the waiters and waitresses out there who aren't getting anything? Somebody said to me the other day, they said, yeah, but waiters and waitresses don't own houses. Really? Okay, that's odd. That is really odd. I had no idea waiters and waitresses don't own houses. I was pretty sure that the person who works at the steakhouse, which is in my neighborhood, told me that they own a beautiful house and they make over $500 to $600 of high-end tips on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday night. So they actually probably, and that's, whether they claim it or not is not my point. But the point is they may be laid off, but they own houses. That is one of the most naive things. I'm not talking about, somebody who works at the drive-through window of McDonald's. They may still actually own a house too, by the way. It's just I'm talking about serious things here. Like, these are people who do own houses, and they actually own investment properties too. So have you done anything? If you're sitting there asking me what you can do, I'm going to give you an idea on that. what I would suggest is to do what I did. So I went around and I took pictures of all the mini malls that are deserted. I took pictures of those big billboard signs. If you can't leave the house because you're under full quarantine, then guess what? Google is an amazing search engine that I just discovered the other day. I'm being totally sarcastic. Anyway, Google is a great search engine. Figure it out, man. Figure it out. You can do it. So anyway, long story short, I took a drive and I came up with 50, and I sent them over to my assistant. And I said, "Here you go. Here's 50 restaurants and business owners and small businesses and everything. They were in all the strip malls on St. Joseph Boulevard." Ended up that she came up with 43 contact information. Out of the 43, I was able to reach 20 in the first 48 hours of receiving the list. 2 CMAs, 2 buyer consults virtually. Okay, how did I do it? Like I said, we're trying to reach people that need our help. Okay. So when I picked up the phone, I was talking to them and all I said is, "Hey, it's Mary-Anne Gillespie. I'm a small business owner. You're a small business owner. You're in my community. I don't know how I can help, but I know a lot of freaking contacts in the industry because I'm a real estate agent. So I know every contact you could possibly need in any financial or housing industry right now. Is there anything, small business owner, I can do to help you? Anything at all?" And you know what? People actually open up. They love the conversation. They open up. They're sharing. If the number one thing I've asked in the past week is the amount of people, it's shocking how many people have not called your local business owners. Okay, we are local business owners. I don't care who you are on this call. This isn't a time to be, spending time just, baking things or whatever the case is. If you really want to see your business achieve great things on the other side of this, then step up to the plate, see the role that we have in a pandemic, and own that role. Okay, it may be hard for some people to shift their mindset because you got your own shit that you're dealing with, and I have nothing but respect for you guys, and myself included. We are all in the same boat. But right now, my shit is not as important as knowing and saying, I know that there's people who are suffering more than I could even possibly imagine right now, and I'm going to do everything I can to help them. It's as simple as that. So making those business calls, that is huge, guys. You have to make those calls. So get out there, offer the calls, have the conversations. Just ask what they can do to help. Okay, if somebody says to you, "Yeah, I can't," like one person said, "I can't defer my mortgage. I can't seem to get through." Let me help you with that. Too many people are afraid of the answers that you're going to get. If you don't know the answer, tell them you don't know the answer. What's the best email? What's the best phone number? Perfect. Can you give me a couple hours? I'm going to see what I can do. Perfect. Done. Just focus on that. That's one thing. Airbnbs. Okay, let's pivot into that. Airbnbs, guys. Who are you calling on Airbnbs right now? Easy, easy, easy. Go look up the Airbnbs in your city. Okay, take a look. Are they booked? Are they not booked? What are they going through? I know Airbnb is struggling right now, so why not reach out to the Airbnbs and see what you got? Okay, have a conversation with them. "Hey, I want to check in with you. I'm in the industry. How are things going as an Airbnb owner?" I mean, do you know how many Airbnb owners want to offload their property right now? It's incredible. Okay, it's really incredible. Again, not because they want to, they have to. Okay, I'm not looking to capitalize on somebody's shitty situation. I'm looking to help them. If there's a chance I can save their Airbnb, that's my first priority. But my second priority is if there is no other solution, they need to get out of it because they've lost an income source. Maybe they just bought it and they're like, "I can't do this anymore." Listen, it's my job to figure it out. Do you want to keep it? Do you want to defer payments? Can they defer payments? That's my job. That's what I'm here for. That counts as an appointment, guys. Okay, so that's important. Also, on the flip side of the Airbnbs, have you guys ever thought this is the new reality? So are we coming up with a list of Airbnbs that are going to be available May 1st for 30 to 60 days? If you're in Quebec right now, you need to find those Airbnbs for longer term rentals, but still short term. So 30, 60, 90-day Airbnb list. If you're the team or the person or the company on this call and you have a site and you're like, "We have 25 Airbnbs for 60 days, fully furnished, ready to go, under commitment that we're going to help find the person to go in it." You have a great system communicating with them. Say, "Guys, so when we're allowed to put your houses on the market, we're going to have a place for you to go. If social distancing continues, which I assume it will." Okay, there's going to be a big need for those Airbnbs, I would imagine, as well. So that's a great thing to do. Communicate with other people in the industry with that. Next thing you want to do, like I said before, I know some people are going to roll their eyes or some people are going to laugh. Listen, the amount of divorces that are going to happen when this is done is going to be extreme. Okay? I'm telling you. And I'm not talking about anybody everybody else here on this call. I don't know anything about your personal families during the situation. I think all of you are okay. But some of you are sitting there going, I have one person who said to me, you know what? They gave me a call last week and they said, we've decided we're definitely not staying together when we're out of this. Is there anything we could be doing now? I'm like, yes, virtual CMA. Let's go. Okay. Divorce lawyers are great people to contact. How can you work together? Think out of the box, okay? I'm just giving you the ideas. I can't force you to do it, okay? Next industry, okay, would be airline industries. Now, these are tips on how to get the virtual appointment. Okay, so somebody just texted me and said, what do I say to a divorce lawyer? You know what you say to a divorce lawyer? You call them up and you say, hey, can I have a conversation with you? And again, it's just a conversation. Can I have a quick conversation with you? Yes. Remember, they should be at home too. Okay. I don't believe they may be in some cities, maybe they're considered essential services, but I'll tell you, it can be a very big possibility. So reach out to them and just say, hey, listen, it's Mary-Anne calling. I just want to check in with you. This is what I said to the lawyer that I refer to all the time. When I have clients who are getting divorced, I refer them to him. I picked up the phone and I said, hey, how's it going? He says, I'm busy. He's like, I'm busy. I'm getting a lot of phone calls, a lot of emails, that stuff. I said, great. Why don't we work on a triage system? I can do a virtual CMA. We can move the process going. At least let's get them to the point where all they have to do is really come in and they get answers. So he's fielding me virtual CMAs. That's amazing. If he didn't work out, by the way, our city has over, I think it's 340 divorce lawyers. Like, I've even lost count. So the truth is, if you come to my coaching calls and you tell me that you've spoken to 2 divorce lawyers and got nothing, honestly, that conversation really doesn't go well. And those of you on this call who've had that conversation, it only happens once, and then never to say it again. Look, however, divorcement, if that's the angle you want to go and you're having success with it, get at her. When I was talking to an agent from New York yesterday, this is no word of a lie. It's such a great perspective. Okay, they can't sell real estate right now. Unfortunately, a lot of people are passing away in New York. Somebody who just jumped on the call, *6 yourself so you put yourself on mute. Anyway, long story short is that in New York, they're having a lot of people passing away. That is a terrible freaking tragedy. I hate seeing what's happening in New York. However, there's a team in New York right now that is sitting there going, we're reaching out to estate lawyers. They have to. You know what? They're like, we have to. Who is helping all these people that have estates now? Well, they're overwhelmed. So they're the one thing that actually realtors are going to have to line up all the estate sales that are going to be happening when they're on the other side of this, which is probably 6 to 8 weeks from now. So the teams that are the top 20% there, they're not sitting around going, you know what? Okay, it's terrible. It's terrible that they have to go down this path. But the reality is that is an industry. Like, what, are we supposed to turn our eye around that? We're supposed to say, listen, it sucks that happened to you and I'm not helping you? No, we have to help. Okay, you just have to help the right way. And that is no different than nurses and doctors. You think nurses and doctors in New York, the frontline workers, they don't want to see this. That's not what they signed up for. This is not what the agents in New York have signed up for either. Okay, so you make the calls now because you can. So that's one angle. Okay, going a different route now. Let's pivot into some other places. Airline industry. Okay, use LinkedIn. Is anybody using LinkedIn to search job profiles, airline industry profiles? I had somebody today tell me that they call. I said, they said, oh, I'm struggling getting 5 appointments. I said, okay, well, how many, did you contact the airline industry? And they're like, yep, I did. And I'm like, how many people did you speak to? Well, I spoke to 2. Again, conversation doesn't ever end well. Okay, there was 16,000 Air Canada layoffs last week. 16,000 on top of, I think, 12,000 2 weeks before. Okay, if you're not paying attention to the airline industry, they're going to be shut down for many months. Now, the person had spoken to a couple people in the airline industry, and they said, well, their spouses have good jobs. I understand the spouses have good jobs. They have good jobs for now. Ask for who they know that needs help. Okay, reach out to those people. I'm telling you, if you're not talking to 30 people a day, that are needing help, then you're not talking to the right people. So it's okay to talk to 2 people who are totally fine because their spouses have great jobs and everything's great in their world. Those aren't the people who are going to need our immediate help. So ask them, I understand you guys are okay. Can you think of anybody in Air Canada? I'm using this as an exact example. Can you think of anybody in Air Canada that has lifted their hand? Maybe you saw a message that they're not doing really okay. Maybe you know that they only purchased a house a little while ago. Who do you know that I can reach out to for help? Because I'm sure somebody that you know is desperate in need of help right now, and it's important that, you know what, you put us in touch with that person. Let us help them. Okay? See, people are living in little bubbles sometimes. Okay? We can live in a little bubble and we don't see what's happening around us, which is why sometimes, like I was talking about my neighbors a few houses down, I love teachers. I respect teachers at the highest level. They don't understand what I'm going through. They don't understand what you guys are going through. They don't understand what every small business owner is going through, how hard we are working right now to try to get everybody understanding that this is not the end of the world. This is a pause, and this is a definite shift in different direction for a lot of us, but that we're not getting paid if we're not working. And we're also going to lose a lot if we don't keep the industry going. The industry has a very, very fragile exterior. So we have to kind of have that top 20% that are on these calls saying, you know what, we have a role to play, and the industry is depending on it, and people are depending on it, because unfortunately, the most expensive thing that people own right now are their houses. And it's not, we got to help them. It's that simple. And not all of them are going to want to sell their house, and all of them but if you help enough people during the kindness economy, guess what? It's called economy. I will never, ever forget the people who are kind during a time of need. I've been in many situations. I've buried family members, my immediate family. Everybody knows my family passed away when I was younger. I was homeless for a year. I will never forget the people who were there for me. I will never forget who took me out of homelessness. I will never forget the people who gave me a couch to sleep on. I will never forget being allowed to shower in a gym. I won't forget those things. I'll never forget them. What I will also remember is I will also remember the people that weren't there, the people that shut the door on me when I asked them for help in many times that I needed help. And they're an equal balancing scale. So let's lean to kindness. That's not a threat. That's just saying is that, guys, you know what? We have to help people. And I don't feel embarrassed about it, and I don't feel ashamed about it. I'm very proud to be a real estate agent, and I'm super proud to be a business coach. Simple as that. And so I want to help people. Now, moving into other directions where we can help people. So let's get a little more out of the box, because that's where we're going to have to go. So we looked at divorce lawyers. We looked at Airbnbs. We looked at tons of stuff, okay? Another thing I want to suggest is if you are pivoting, airlines we've looked at as well, guys, hotel industry, okay, lawyers, all that stuff. Make sure that you're really looking at that. Okay, understand your Facebook demographics as well. Okay, so if you're sitting there and you're thinking you can use your Facebook, maybe do a couple polls to your Facebook audience and say, we're trying to figure out, guys, how many of you have been laid off? How many of you haven't? We're looking for a poll right now. Has anybody in your family been laid off? Yes or no? We're not asking. Be careful not to ask if they have. Some people are very private about this stuff. So what you really want to do is just ask the question, you know what? Has anybody in your household been affected by layoffs? Yes or no? Very simple. Okay? You don't need, like I said, to call people out on anything. That's really super important. Okay? So when you do that, you'll know if 50% of your Facebook says yes, reach out to the people who said yes. Now I know a lot of you are sitting there going, "Oh my God, Mary-Anne, how are you so smart? Like, how did you think of that?" And I just want to say, I don't know. Okay, this just comes to me. You guys all have your own superpowers. Me, pandemics and crisis moments and things like this just happen to be mine. So you know what? That's just the way it is. But that is a great idea, guys. If you want to know and if your Facebook profile comes back and you have 99% of people saying they know nobody who's been laid off, guess what? Your Facebook is not the place you're going to be lead generating. You're not going to find those people who need your help, okay? So go outside of your Facebook. But if you find out that 70% of your Facebook has somebody in their ecosystem that's been laid off, reach out. Ask them, how can I help? Do they know anybody they want us to help? What can we do? Okay? That's an easy way to segment that out, okay? And I'm seeing some great stuff, guys. I'm seeing some really cool stuff, but like, think about it. Where are your clients for the other side of this, okay? I can tell you virtual home inspections will be a thing of a normal, okay? If you're doing virtual open houses, here's another little good nugget that I'm going to share with you guys. If you're doing virtual open houses and you're saying that they kind of suck, which I heard a lot of people say after this weekend, they're like, virtual open houses, they really suck. Let me tell you a few things. People aren't watching them on weekends anymore. They're watching them Wednesdays at 7 o'clock at night. They're watching them Fridays at 1 o'clock. beware, okay? Take a look at the times. The trends are no longer weekends necessarily. The other thing I want you to remember is this. It's killing me how many people are doing virtual open houses and expecting the world to just adjust with us. It doesn't work that way. Send an e-card invite to your database and start to get it going. Okay, so you have to e-card invite people to this new reality that we're living in. Okay, and I love it because once you start inviting people to your open houses like an e-card, okay, it's no different than what I've asked you to do before. Think about it. I ask you guys to lead generate to get people to your open houses. If you're just expecting the whole world to shift and go, oh, geez, Mary-Anne's doing virtual open houses right now. I think I'm going to log in and I'm going to go attend her open house. First of all, they're everywhere. They don't know when the virtual open houses are happening. They're all over the place. So send an e-card to your database and then be like, great. Get them understanding. Talk to your database and be like, hey guys, we're going to be doing an open house. I'm going to invite you guys to see what the future is like. Okay. What's also happening in a lot of those areas, again, the areas that are most impacted because they're non-essential workers, people are jonesing to see listings. So please collaborate with each other and get those exclusive listings in your offices. Again, this isn't the time. You guys know that I'm like Switzerland. You know what? I love Remax. I love Keller Williams. I love EXP. I love Exit. I love Royal LePage. I love Century 21. I don't love discount brokerages, so I have to say I don't love everybody. But on the full service brokerage level, I love every company. So please reach out to your colleagues in other companies in your city. This isn't the time for us to kind of like be, competing against each other. This is a time where we need to remember it's the kindness economy. So let's collaborate and see what we can really do. If you've got 25 exclusive listings at your brokerage and another brokerage has 55 exclusive listings, guess what? Merge up. Enjoy yourself with that, okay? More virtual appointments, guys. So we've done the Facebook. Go to the rental groups on Facebook. Take a look. Ask the administrator, say, listen, I'm very curious. Have you done any research? Who didn't get paid? Who's a landlord on this site and you didn't get paid? I'm looking to see who didn't get paid in April, their rent. I'm very curious to have conversations with you guys. I'm doing some research. Have the conversations out there. Go to Kijiji, go to Craigslist. What rentals are suffering right now? Who's doing what? So really take a look at that. Very, very, very important. Remember, townhouse move ups is going to be a really cool market because all these people who own townhouses are going, oh my God, my whole family's in it. This really is too small. And the work from home economy is going to be huge. So if you're looking at probably a demographic that really needs help on the other side of this, there's going to be so many people that are in townhouses. If you refuse to help the people who really need it and you're looking for opportunity, it's probably going to be in townhouses. Just to be honest, that's going to be the move up, in my opinion. That's what I think. I obviously have no proof of this, but I'd like to record this call. So if I'm right, we're good. Anyway, so getting back into it. Sending the email invites, looking at all these different areas. My biggest thing is this. Please focus on just the aspects of who needs our help right now. The landlords who don't get paid rent, where do you find them? That's the questions you need to ask. You find them in Facebook group sites. You find them in Airbnbs. You find them everywhere. Okay, where are they? Okay, search them out, put it forward, reach out to them. Okay, this is not easy, but it's not hard either. Okay, the whole world's at home. Another thing you want to look at is you can do, if you don't have a great resource, but you're like, I want to be social media proof and I want to do it this way. You heard the call that I did with Marley on our social media coaching, is that one of the things that she talked about is she's like, do the guides that are going to help people. If you have nobody in your ecosystem and you're not willing to, kind of put yourself out there, fine. Do the 5 or 6 things to do if you didn't get paid rent this month, and put it out there and funnel it out into, pay a social media company to push your ads, or if you're talented enough, you can do it. Okay, so that's another thing. You really, again, guys, you have to focus in very heavily on finding opportunity to help people who are suffering right now. I love seeing all the great stuff that you guys are posting and all that kind of stuff, but understand, empathy means you understand what other people are going through. It can be very different than what you're going through, but it doesn't negate that they're going through that, and it doesn't negate the fact that we have a very serious role right now. And my role for you guys is to get your businesses onto the other side of this. The only way that you're going to probably have that happen in a highly fast, successful way is for us to find the people who actually need our help. Remember at the beginning of this call, I told you to gather statistics and look at this quarter by quarter by quarter, and then look at it annually, and then look at a 5-year trajectory against anything that's hurt our economy at a high level. That will require some research from you guys. Okay, another industry you want to look at too is hotels. Now, all of you are sitting there saying, like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. We have so many tools at our hands where you can get out there, you can find the business owners. They have Facebook pages, they have LinkedIn accounts, they have websites, they're responding to emails still. They're actually dying for people to talk to them and give them some advice and help. You know, the new system that was launched, where we can apply for funding and all that kind of stuff is done alphabetically. Do you have the latest information? Are you helping people? Be very aware of that. And for those of you who want to post posts about the latest recipes or things you're doing, please know who you're posting it to. If you have 70% of people who are experiencing layoffs, they're probably experiencing on your Facebook some type of financial stress right now. Maybe they want to see a recipe, or maybe they don't. Maybe they want to see you drinking wine and laughing and having a good time. Maybe they don't. I can tell you from somebody who owns a business on my side, I'm working 18-hour days. Sometimes I enjoy seeing people like my public servant friends who are on my Facebook. I don't mind seeing that they're having a good time, but there are times where when I'm having a really tough day and I see them all, sitting there talking about, sitting on patios drinking wine and enjoying themselves and going, "Hey, you know what? La la la." I'm going, if anybody knows red rum, I'm only kidding. But I'm just saying, it's like, that's a really hard thing for me to watch sometimes going, man, like we're in different universes and I don't think they understand it. And, because they're not reaching out saying, hey, how are you doing? How are you doing? Now, everybody knows my company's great. We're doing awesome. We're leading the way in the coaching of businesses right now. And I think that that's really complimentary to me, my coaches, and our research teams. But the truth is that my role is to get you guys to the other side. You need to find those 5 virtual appointments every single week. You need to lean into them. You need to crush the living pants out of that as your priority. That means having the schedule, having the accountability, having the people doing it, but it also means, having a lot of discipline behind that and making sure, absolutely making sure that you guys understand I'm looking at this as 30 freaking days. And I'm saying this really with my teeth gritted. I've never been more serious in my life. You have 2 choices of how you want this to be on the other side. You are either looking at this as the end of the world and you're one of the 80% that's going to turn around, you're going to, kind of do what your own thing is, or you can look at this as your one opportunity to step up and say, you know what, this week I'm pivoting to 5 virtual appointments a week. I don't care what it takes. I'm going to reach out 5 days a week. I'm going to take the weekend off and I'm going to put everything I have to finding all the people who need my freaking help right now. And if you're not talking to them, you find them. And if you can't find them, I dare you to call me and tell me that you can't find people that need your help in your community. Because I'll get on the phone. I'll challenge anybody on this call. I will get on the phone and I will find them. Okay? Because I care about other people right now. And I know that this is going to have another side of it. And I believe that the other side is not far away. And I don't want to be the person on the other side that looks the small business owners in my neighborhood in the face and says I did nothing, that I didn't reach out, that I didn't care, that I didn't do anything. Okay, I want to be the person on the other side that says I did whatever it takes to help. I reached out to every personal trainer I know. How can I help? I reached out to all those people. And you know what? People do. Their houses are the most expensive things that they're dealing with right now. And when an economy shifts like this, we need to at least find the people that need our services. They need the CMAs. They need the help. And you don't have to force them. Be very cautious and not be tacky. I'm not looking for you guys to pick up a phone and start asking people, hey, do you want to do this? Or do you want to list your house? I'm looking for us to actually help. In a kindness economy, help people. Offer to help. Ask them what they need. Who do they need to be put in touch with? Do we have the resources to help them? Is your brokerage around if you needed to get a TD mortgage rep because somebody needs to defer? Find them. Do whatever it takes. But if you're not speaking to 30 of those people a day, chances are is you might be missing the wrong group of people. Okay? So really give it your best, guys. I'm going to challenge everybody on this call 5 virtual appointments a week. You love me, you can hate me, but I can almost guarantee you that the 20% that is following where we're going right now will be on the other side of this. We'll be on the other side of this, and we're going to do everything we can to protect our industry. We're going to protect all of our clients' houses. We're going to try our best to do the best we can. But if we all shut down and we all sat around, we didn't take this seriously, not only are we not helping people, but we're letting other business owners down. And this is the time where we need to get together and look for the people that need help. And they're not raising their hands aggressively because it's humiliating, because it's breaking my heart to see other businesses go through things and we're not doing anything for them at the level that we should. And it's killing me because there's people who have serious, serious problems right now and they're scared. And I want to hear that this group on this call did something about it. And you know what? You're not looking to list their houses right now or sell their houses. I'm asking you to find them and give them a little bit of reassurance and a little bit of hope and help them get to the people they need to get to. And watch what happens on the other end of this. You have to trust me on that one. Okay? So from my heart to you guys, I've loaded us up with some great calls. We're going to continue NLP coaching on Thursday. That's going to be your limiting beliefs. And I want to reach out to everybody on this call. If you need a partner or help and you've tried everything you can and you're not getting the support you need from whatever level, you reach out to me. I'm here and I'm going to do it no matter what until we're on the other side of this. And then when we're on the other side of this, I'm going to go into seclusion for 2 weeks. And I don't know what I'm going to do because I probably won't be able to travel anywhere, but you'll find me somewhere hidden for 2 weeks. But until then, I'm going to be your rock. I'm going to take you through this, and we're going to get the 5 appointments this week. So let's do this. Let's crush the shit out of it, and let's show the world that we're very strong and that we're going to be the 20% that's going to put everything we've got to finding people to help. Okay? So have a great, great week as best as you can. I know you're all dealing with your own stuff. So you know what? I appreciate you guys showing up to the call today. I appreciate you guys supporting our company, and I appreciate everything you're doing to push through your own issues right now to help other people. So my heart goes out to you guys. I can only tell you that I know for sure that kindness is never forgotten in crises. So really, really lean into it. Okay, guys? All right. We will see you on the rest of the calls this week. And that first one starts tomorrow with our amazing Tony Miller. All right, guys. We'll talk to you guys later. Thank you for your time today. Bye for now.